all A, B, and C, you need to know what a will is. The idea is that it is important to understand the whole to understand the part. And that is a way in which we talk about things that allow us to make sense. We talk about an apple, you have in your head, the notion of a finger, and also, at a more backgrounded level, the notion of a hand. That's the relationship of meronymy, sorry, that word. So, for synonyms and antonyms, the thing that I explained holds, but if you talk about referential identity between something like, just a second, between kill versus cause to die. If you kill, you're causing someone or some living creature to die. Is that correct or not? Is kill synonym to cause to die? For instance, if somebody pulls a gun and shoots at somebody, you would say he killed that person. If the doctor is performing surgery and the patient dies, did the doctor kill the patient? If I do this, if I do this, I want to kill somebody, but I want to commit a perfect crime. So I want to see, that person is going through surgery, a very complicated surgery. So I will patiently wait until the day that person goes through surgery, and then I'm just going to go, to the power plant, and I'm going to mess everything up. So during the time he has scheduled surgery, there is no power. And I also make sure, that there is no power in the hospital, I mess around, with the emergency thing they have, and he dies because they cannot do anything without power. Did I kill that person? You can see, that it gets complicated to understand, how we use the word kill. Sometimes it is better to say I'm caused to die because I'm putting myself in a more indirect position and not in a more direct or active position. So really, there are not synonyms. Synonyms are some. Your book is saying that there are synonyms at a referential level, but only if you talk about, for instance, I don't know, if you're talking about one object and you give that same object two different names. For instance, I don't know. How do you call the thing you drink? Where are you from?
Massachusetts.
Oh, excellent. So, excellent. So, how do you call the thing that you drink? I don't know, like a 7-Up Sprite. Pop. Excellent. And how are you from?
Texas.
From Texas. So, how do you call the thing you drink? When you like a 7-Up or a soda? Anybody from Georgia? Nobody? In Georgia, you can still hear people saying they drink Coke, even if it's not Coke. It could be a Sprite, it could be Pepsi, and it's still a Coke. I want a Coke. Which kind? Pepsi, please. I heard that and I was like, oh, they didn't teach me that, when I was learning English. But then you have to learn fast. So you can see, you have to learn fast, really. So this is an interesting thing because at one point you can say, oh well, at a referential level, the word pop and the word soda refer to the same reality. However, okay, they are synonyms at a referential way, in a referential sense. But if you think about the information the word pop and the word soda give you, and the word Coke, they tell you, oh, this person might be from the deep south, this person might be from the north, or from the Midwest, because in Indiana they also say pop, and this person might be somewhere else besides those areas. Okay? That is important thing because then, at a if you are very picky, there are no real synonyms. Antonym is, on the other hand, the relation between words that tells us about the opposition or complementariness between them. So, you can have gradable pairs like this one here, ugly and pretty. You can have ugly and pretty, and you can have everything in between. Okay? And I was thinking that there are plenty of things you can have in between, attractive, ugly, like horrible, nasty, whatever you want to say. And for those that are not gradable, usually adjectives are the ones that you can grade. But for those that you cannot grade, you have complete opposition, dead or alive. Okay? So, because the opposition is in some sense logically attained or obtained because you say, if you are alive, that means that you are not dead. And if you are not dead, that immediately means that you are alive. So, but that's the most core meaning. That's the most core meaning because sometimes people talk about, the thing is half dead or something like that because it looks bad. So that's another way of talking that is not very precise. So the thing so far, we're looking is that there are ways of talking in which we convey information that wants to be very precise, very objective. But there are also ways in which we talk that are not precise, and those are the most complex ones. And those are the ones that tell you who knows how to speak a language and who doesn't. Those are the most creative ones. So convergence is also an interesting one. And of course, I had to put something in Spanish, otherwise it wouldn't have with me. Convergence is a relationship between two elements that are mutually implied. You cannot have this notion being true if you don't have this other notion being true at the same time. And in the comic strip, you can say that the daughter is saying, why do I have to do it? And the mother says, well, because I say so, and I am your mother. And then she replies, well, if it's a matter of our degrees, then I am your daughter. And we graduated the same day, didn't we? Because, what does it mean? What does it mean? We graduated the same day. The day I became a daughter, because she's the oldest, the day I became a daughter, by definition, you became a mother. It's unavoidable. The day you become a teacher, if you're a teacher, that means that you have students. The day you become a wife, that means that you have a significant other that is legally allowed to marry you in this modern world. Not necessarily a husband. Okay? So you get the point. It is not they are not antonyms. They are complementary because if one is true, the other one needs to be true. If it's true that this lady is a mother, it is true that she has a daughter. And if this is her daughter, it is true because she has a mother. Also, verbs could have that relationship. Give and receive are complementary in that sense. Give and receive. Okay? Talk and listen is not, because you can talk and nobody listens sometimes. As sad as it is. But so be careful with that. You have to, because the exercise or even the quiz is going, or the test is going to point out that you actually know how to define those elements, and the best bet you can have when you want to analyze this is, let's go for the most core meaning, the referential one. If you're talking about somebody like it's a mother, it's a parent, you have to have, kids, children. Polysemy is interesting, but polysemy is the capacity of a word to mean several things, and those meanings are related because they have been extended through history or because creativity of the users. So the word palm is a very simple one that I could put like plenty of words. Most words are polysemies, really. So the word palm, you think about the tree. You think about, what is it, this part? Think about the tree first. So you can see a palm, you can see this figure, and then you can see the palm of your hand. So if you can think about the two things, the plant and the part of your arm, you have to say that what kind of relationship they hold.
Physical structure.
Physical structure, we're getting technical here. Okay, there is some physical structure, of course, but let's go to a more, basic level for a 3-year-old. It's like, they kind of look the same. They kind of look the same because they share a structure. I give you that, it's true. So if they look the same, if there is something similar that we can relate to each other, then we can extend. Don't ask me which one was first, the palm of the tree or the palm of the hand. The idea might be, okay, you might get the point. Which one should be before? The palm of the hand or the palm of the tree?
Hand.
Hand? Yeah. Then why do we have to say palm of the hand? We should just say palm. The one that is
when you say palm tree, there's sometimes a little hard to find that as well.
Yeah. But the name of that tree is What kind of tree is that? It's a palm. Yeah, so that's the idea. The idea is it's more primitive in the sense of being previous because it is less complex. That's always a good indicator when you are talking about polysemy. But also remember, polysemy is there is some relationship, like the word crown. So why do your tooth have a crown? I don't think the tooth, has, God-given rights, to rule a nation, because that's also a crown. Why do we talk about the crown of the tooth?
It's a golden hat.
Okay, that's a good one. Some people like having like a golden tooth and stuff like that. Okay, that's kind of classy. But think about, the structure of a tooth. It's something that surrounds it and has this, top that is irregular. So it kind of looks like a crown. So think that we are stretching the representation in order to create new meaning that allow us to talk about things that we need to talk about. If you're a dentist, you're going to talk about crowns every day, and you're going to a big fan of Queen Elizabeth, perhaps. Yeah? Oops, what did I do? Oh, I pressed the wrong one. Homonymy is something different. Homonymy and polysemy are very much confusing because while polysemy is one word with different meanings, because those meanings are somehow related by representation, by stretching, expanding the representation, homonymy is a situation in which there is a coincidence between two words that are spelled or pronounced the same, but they have nothing to do with each other. It's just a historical coincidence, like the word peg. So the question here is, what's a peg? If you can read it, a Boston is a unit of weight equal to 4 pegs. What's a peg? A quick smooch. I don't understand math at all. Of course, like a peg is not smooch. Well, it is smooch. But those are two words that have different meanings, and they come historically from different sources. The one we're talking about here in the math problem is, a peg is a measure of volume associated with dry goods. It is rarely, if ever, used to measure liquids, blah, 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 blah. That is the definition of one meaning for peg. A homonym is the other one, a quick smooch. And how much do I have left? A couple minutes?
Just like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wanted to finish with this. So, when you use language to communicate, we're talking about what we understand. But sometimes we use language to understand abstract notions based on more concrete notions that we can easily manage. For instance, you know that St. Augustine people had this famous saying about time. What then is time? If no one asks me, I know what it means, what it is. If I wish to explain it to him who asks, I don't know. Because time is a very abstract notion. So how do we talk about time so we can make ourselves understandable when we talk about time? Well, we use some concrete notion, a source domain. And then we use it to express a target domain, which is always abstract. So those are the technical terms. The source is concrete, the target is abstract. So let's see how we do it. In English, time is a path you go through. That's how we understand time. Time is a path, and we walk through that path. We do the moving. So we talk about a brilliant future lies ahead of us, because when we're walking, the future is in front of us, and we walk towards the future, and we then leave things behind, which are left in the past. The word left, like putting behind. That's how we express that in English. However, in Quechua, in Southern Quechua, which is the language I study, time is a path you observe moving through. It's like one of those, how do you call like the thing you used to run, that you never move, but you can keep moving? The treadmill. It's sort of like you stand here and time moves like a treadmill and you just observe things. So think about it. If you're standing here and times move, things that are in the future are in front of you or behind you. If you are standing still, you don't move. Time is the one that moves, like a treadmill. Things in the future are going to be where? Behind you. And things in the past are going to be in front of you because they just passed you by. So that's the way, that's how they organize time in Quechua. So the word for ñaupa runa means ancestor, and ñaupa means to move forward. So the people that are behind us, in English, in Quechua are the people that are in front of us, and those are my ancestors. And when I talk about Kepa runa, that means my descendant, the people that are behind me. You see, it's totally the opposite. Time is money. That works in English and Spanish. We want to talk about time, we talk about money. Okay, so you get the idea when time is money. For instance, don't waste my time. Like this will save you a lot of time, etc. So you get the idea here that we are using, this is similar to homonymy, you see? We're using some notion that is very concrete, and we expand the meaning to talk about something that is more abstract. So that's what we thought about today when we talk about meaning. I hope you enjoyed the class. And if you have questions, you can ask me.